Did you know that many iconic characters from your favorite Cartoon Network shows didn't start out with the same voice actors you might know them for today? Oftentimes, between pilots and early episodes, complications may arise or the creative staff behind the show might just want to go in a different direction. During the production of the original codename Kids Next Door pilot during Cartoon Network's Big Pick, two major characters actually went through some pretty big changes before the voice cast was finalized. Number 2, Hoagie P. Gilligan, was intended to be played by Sue Rose, producer and voice of the series Angela Anaconda, as well as the producer of Pepper Ann, which Kids Next Door creator Tom Warburton served as the lead character designer for. However, at the recommendation of Kids Next Door's voice director Colette Sunderman, Number 2 was put up for audition, which ultimately led to Ben Diskin becoming the voice of Hoagie. But it didn't stop there. Sector V leader Number 1, Nigel Uno, was originally played by Tom Kenny, who had previously voiced the lead character in Tom Warburton's Kenny and the Chimp short, of which Professor Triple Extra Large, played by Frank Welker, came from. And the Kids Next Door originated from as villains for a totally different show concept. As the production continued, Mr. Warburton found that Tom's voice wasn't quite working for Nigel after all, but still wanted to work with him, so Number 1 was recast to an actual British child actor, while Tom Kenny continued working on the pilot as the voice of the villainous Mr. Wink. Unfortunately, after having to come back and re-record pickups for Nigel in the pilot, the child actor's voice had dropped, and Number 1 had to be recast yet again. This time to, you guessed it, Ben Diskin, leading him to play 2 of the 5 main characters in the show from there on out. Quite a treat for the young up-and-comer, considering he had grown up hearing much of the show's cast in other cartoons he had watched as a kid, such as Cree Summers. Which, speaking of, Number 5, Abigail Lincoln, according to Cree Summer, is actually her impression of a fellow voice actor, Scatman Carruthers.
Hey man, first, why don't we do that old number we used to do years ago? You remember that number we used to do, yeah?
You'll find out everything you need to know when you get there. The game is on, people. Number 5 is out.
Cree was not only offered the part of Number 5, but the character's villainous older sister was also named and designed after her. Both Cree Summers and Ben Diskin also shared the role of the creepy, delightful children from down the lane, along with Dee Bradley Baker, voice of Number 4 and the Toilinator. Believe it or not, the Delightful Children's trio of actors were all recorded for their synchronized lines at the same time.
Thank you for coming, Mr. Toilinator. But you're not the type of villain we're looking for.
This is pretty impressive and quite different from the process of certain characters from a certain successful anime series, Dragon Ball Z, all of which aired on Cartoon Network, where the fusion characters such as Gotenks and Vegito are recorded by the individual actors one at a time. However, on that same note, the Kids Next Door episode Operation Report featured a sequence that spoofed Dragon Ball Z, featuring the Delightful Children as a multi-headed Frieza lookalike and Number 4 as an obvious parody of Goku. And it took the instruction and anime know-how of Ben Diskin to teach Dee Baker during that episode's recording on how to do one of DBZ's infamous power-up yells.
Impressive! But I also have a surprise for you! Hey, yeah!
This episode also parodied a bunch of other cartoon series, each trying to capture their specific brands of comedy. Which, speaking of very specific brands of comedy, one of Cartoon Network's biggest series, Ed, Edd n Eddy, was a major success in multiple countries all around the world. Ironically, Canada not being one of them, despite it being created and recorded in Vancouver, British Columbia. According to the show's voice director, Terry Claassen, creator Danny Antonucci was so incredibly particular about the delivery of each line that they would spend a huge amount of time getting every single joke to hit just right, sometimes even spending an entire hour on one line. Since the beginning, nearly all of Ed, Edd n Eddy's small cast of characters have been consistent in their actors, with only 2 small exceptions. One of which was the one and only ever addition of a new character in the series, in that of Eddie's older brother, voiced, funnily enough, by Terry Claassen, in the finale movie Ed, Edd n Eddy Big Picture Show. The other is in that of Naz, who during the first season was voiced by Tabitha St. Germain.
Now boys, relax, have fun, it's a party. You boys look cool. Mind if I join you?
When Tabitha was unavailable to continue recording the show, it was decided that someone already within the cast would take over on the character. Erin Fitzgerald, the voice of May Kanker since the beginning of the show, was intended to take over on Naz, but since she had just moved to the United States, the part went temporarily to Jen Forgey.
Oh, you get off! You guys are totally acting like jerks. Why don't you leave poor Jimmy alone? He's younger than you, you know, and blah, 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 blah.
Until, eventually, Erin returned to play May and officially take over as Naz. On that same note, all 3 leading ladies within the Ed, Edd n Eddy cast behind the voices of the Kanker sisters each play 2 different characters each. Erin plays Naz and May Kanker.
Sorry I'm late, Eddie. I guess your mom and dad already went out.
Beat it, Marie! You had your turn! I'll take the big goofy one, Lee!
Janice Jode plays both Lee Kanker and Ed's little sister Sarah.
Roman Marie! Yuck!
Is it real?
And he's gonna crash! Let's go see, Jimmy!
And perhaps the most impressive, Kathleen Barr plays both Marie Kanker and a male character, Kevin.
Time for a close-up, holiday boyfriend!
Don't try this at home, kids. Don't sweat it, Rolf. What you don't know won't hurt you.
Funny story about Kathleen and her relation to another Cartoon Network show. In Japan, an anime adaptation of the hit series Powerpuff Girls, titled Powerpuff Girls Z, featured new interpretations of the girls and their massive array of different villains. Powerpuff Girls Z's English dub was also recorded in Vancouver, Canada, with its own unique cast separate from the original cartoon show, including Matt Hill, the voice of Ed, as a new character named Poochie, Sam Vincent, voice of Double D Ed, as the narrator, and Kathleen Barr, Marie and Kevin's actress, as one of the Rowdy Rough Boys, Butch.
And I'm Butch. Get a life, yo. Me too, yo. Feed us or else.
Still on the note of Kathleen, here's one more crazy connection between two shows, Johnny Test and Pokemon, both of which started broadcasting in the US on Kids WB's Saturday morning block, but prominently ran afterward on Cartoon Network. According to Veronica Taylor, who voiced Pokemon protagonist Ash Ketchum in the first 8 seasons of the show, she based Ash's voice on a combination of Spritle from Speed Racer and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer from the Rankin Bass stop-motion holiday special of the same name. In an episode of Johnny Test spoofing Pokemon, Kathleen played a very obvious parody character named Blast Ketchup.
A bad kid who will want to battle me, because that is what our show is about. Kadoomerang! Go!
But the further hilarious coincidence is that Kathleen also went on to play Rudolph himself in the 2001 movie Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer and the Island of Misfit Toys.
Gee, guys, thanks. Being famous is swell and all, but the truth is, I never did anything to deserve it.
Oh no, Professor! I got messed up this morning and I was a little late, but believe me, I'm ready for a Pokemon!
Thanks for watching. This video was inspired by Did You Know Gaming, so go check out their channel and watch all their videos about gaming trivia. Special thanks to Omadon for the audio mastering, Mr. Simon for the music, and BehindTheVoiceActors.com for all the audio samples. If you like this video, check out our other ones linked here on the side, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more. See you next time.